Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen. We have a little back feed here. Again, welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting for July 1st, 2013. Remind everybody that this meeting is being audio taped and videotaped. Call the meeting to order. And first on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And with that, Stu Dalzell, Water Commission. Will you, Stu, lead us in the pledge?
Be honored to. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Stu.
My pleasure.
First thing, let's take a moment of silence for the 19 firefighters that were killed in Arizona. Thank you. Okay, Chairman's comments, I have none tonight. And it is now almost 6 minutes after the hour. We got a little late start. So we are in citizens query from 7:05 to 7:15. If anybody in the audience has a question, they can ask it of the board. Doesn't mean the board will respond, but you can ask the question. Okay. All right, we have appointments tonight. We have three. We have a 7:15, Paul Boudreau, Steve Conley to discuss the bicycle competition. 7:45, we have Ken Ward and Harry Bennett for plumbing and gas inspector appointment. 8 o'clock, the Recreation Committee Chairman Glenn Fouget to discuss Recreation Committee involvement in sports leagues and to discuss basketball court improvements. And with that, there's no questions from anyone in the audience. We'll move on to general business. If I can find general business. Let's see. All right. General business. Attaches a list of reappointments. Also attaches a list of Board of Selectmen reappointments to various town boards. So, gentlemen, this is kind of a interactive for all of us as we go down through the list. Okay, this is from Deborah Egan, Honorable Board of Selectmen, in reference to Selectmen representative appointments. The following is a list of committees which have a Selectmen's representative position that is expiring effective July 1st, 2013. First, Eastern Essex Veterans District, Richard Cummings currently serving. Dick has been serving on this for since he left last year. He's still interested in serving, isn't he?
I haven't spoken to him about it, I'm not sure.
Okay. Deb, have you spoken to Dick Cummings about the Eastern Essex Veterans District?
No, I did not.
Okay.
If you want, Mr. Chairman, if Dick is not interested,
Okay.
I'm willing to do that. If he wants to serve, by all means.
Okay, let's find out.
He's done a good job.
He has done a good job.
But I'd be willing to do that if he can.
Okay, Fire Station Committee, I've been currently serving on the Fire Station Committee. If there's no objections, I'll continue.
I'll make that motion that Chairman Snow serve on the fire committee, station committee.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Local Emergency Planning Commission, Robert Murray is currently serving.
Mr.
Bob,
Chairman, I will continue.
you'll
I'll
continue?
make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recuse myself.
Okay. MBTA Advisory Board, I'm currently serving as in the advisory board.
I'll make the motion that
Anybody wish to serve? Nobody?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
David.
I have a motion. I have a second.
David second.
David, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. Okay, Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, I'm currently serving. Anybody wish to serve in that position?
No, Bob Snow, I'll make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Okay, Personnel Board, Dave Peterson currently serving.
Yeah, I think we already voted on
I
it.
Mr. Chairman, is, actually, should Mr. Perry, I think he's the alternate for,
Yeah.
is the alternate
Yes,
on the
oh,
Merrimack
yes,
Valley
for the-
Planning Commission,
that's
so
right.
we should probably discuss that, it's not on
Yeah,
this
make it
memo.
Yeah,
another
for the
position.
alternate position, Merrimack Valley Planning Commission,
I'll make a motion at
I'll
Bob.
second.
Joe,
Joe, sorry, too many.
we'll put you under the
Bob.
alternate too.
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Again, Personnel Board, did we already,
Yeah, I think we already appointed me.
we already appointed
Well,
him?
we did,
We'll
now
appoint you
make the
again.
motion.
I'm-
I'll make the
I'm
motion
serving
so
two
it's
current-
on the record.
No, that it is, I think. We already voted.
I think we already
We
voted.
voted the
For
first
the next
meeting.
fiscal year?
Yes,
Yes.
For June
last
30th?
meeting.
Okay.
Well, maybe we just did it to the end of the fiscal year, now it's the beginning.
Yeah, I think
No,
that's-
we did it
Through
to
2014.
2014. I
Did we
needed
do
it
it
to,
2014?
I needed it for,
I think he's trying to get out of it. We need to vote it so we can't get out.
That's an idea too.
Amy is pretty clear, the official action notice stipulated June 30th,
yes, I got the
2014.
official.
Is it 2014?
2014.
Okay. We'll make sure he doesn't
I can
escape,
resign
that's
tomorrow
all.
anyway, so that's easy enough to take care of.
That's what you think, Dave, no.
We're all-
Okay, Raleigh Emergency Management Agency, Robert Murray is currently serving. Bob, do you wish to continue?
Yeah,
I'll make the motion.
I have a
Second.
motion, I have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I recuse myself.
Okay, Town Common Restoration Committee. Stu Dalzell was the selectman's representative, and has asked to be reappointed to this committee as resident representative, leaving the committee without a selectman rep. So,
I'll make a motion that Stu Dalzell be appointed.
well, he'll be a resident.
He's a resident.
He's the resident representative. Okay, now we need
Okay, rep,
he's
Resident.
already been appointed as resident rep, correct?
Yes, it's, that's the case, so I don't know what, if you want to expand it, you're altering the committee, that's all, we just need to make sure there's.
Okay, well, Stu will be
so he's on the committee, but
He's-
we need a
But-
selectman's
The
rep.
need a
selectmen
selectman?
discussed having a selectman on the committee now, and that was my question to you, would you like to have a selectman? It was designed to have a member of the Board of Selectmen on the committee, Mr. Dalzell served in that capacity till, through his term.
What is the board, thoughts of the board?
Yeah, I think we probably should have a selectman's
I
rep.
would think so. Who would like to?
I'll nominate Joe Perry for that selectman's rep.
We have a.
Hearing no objection, I'll
What do you
second.
think, Joe? I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
What do you think,
you're
Joe?
on quite
I'll
a
do
few committees.
You sure?
If you don't want to, I could.
I don't want to paint you in a corner, but
No, I'll do it.
you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Zoning Review Committee, Robert Murray, currently serving. Bob,
I'll
you
continue.
want to continue?
I'll make that
I
motion.
have a motion, I have a
Second.
second, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recuse myself.
So those appointments are complete, correct? And these other appointments have already been made, correct, Debbie? We did it,
Yep,
yes,
so we need to do the reappointments now,
okay.
it's attached.
Okay, we'll do them by committee or do them all at once?
Well, I think you need to do them by committee in
By
case
committee,
there's a
okay.
conflict.
375th Anniversary Committee, David Irving, First Congregational Church. These are all until 6/30/2014. Joseph Perry, Raleigh Board of Selectmen, Susan Hazen, Town Clerk, Sam Sharif, Raleigh Historical Society, Robert Murray, Raleigh Historical Society. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A motion. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I recuse myself.
I'd just like to comment that we reduced the number of of active voters on the committee so that we would have just a majority of 3 to sign off on bills and whatever. So that's why we're reducing it to 5 members.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Fire Station Committee, 1-year term. Okay, and this is till 6/30/2014. James Broderick, Fire Chief. Doug Chadbourne, Resident Rep, 2000, Resident Rep. Thomas Heidegard, Resident Rep. James Szymanski, Resident Rep. Janet Bridges, Finance Committee Rep. Richard Gagnon, Raleigh Volunteer Firefighters Association Rep. Tom Marsh, Associate Rep Representative. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Forest Fire Warden and Superintendent of Fire Alarm. 1 year, James Broderick. This is all until 6/30/2014. Mark Emery, Assistant. And James R. Merry, Assistant.
Make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I recuse myself.
Okay. Local Emergency Planning Commission, 1-year term. This is till 6/30/2014. James Roderick, Fire Chief. Robert Barker, Police Chief. Dan Folding, Light Department. Frank Mangiani, Board of Health. Mary Ellen McGill, Council on Aging Director. Deborah Egan, Town Administrator. Brent Bazelak, Conservation Agent. Roger Murray, Deputy Chief. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Recuse myself.
Northern Essex Regional Emergency Planning Committee, 1-year term till 6/30/2014. James Broderick, Fire Chief. Robert Barker, Police Chief. Frank Mangiani, Health Agent. Mary Ellen McGill, Town Health Nurse, Council on Aging Rep. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Raleigh Emergency Management Agency. Okay, 1-year term, 6/30/2014. James Broderick, Director. Robert Barker, Police Chief. Roger Murray, Mary Ellen McGill, Donald Dupree, Robert M. Hagopian. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Recuse myself.
Aye.
Okay. What time is it? Let's do it really quickly. Parks and Recreation, 3-year term. Michael Killian. This is till 6/30/2014. Glenn Fouché, John Tidmash, Ryan Gallant, and Mike Quinn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll come back because we have an appointment.
So Paul's coming through it.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, we could probably
Some more time.
just finish the second page of that.
Okay.
Mr. Boudreau's on his way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In that case, we'll go back to reappointments. Limited Health Agents, 1 year. This is till 6/30/2014. Susan Hazen, Town Clerk. Barbara Demento. David W. Roberts. And Susan Leach. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Local Census Liaison for Federal Census, 1-year term till 6/30/2014. Susan Hazen, Town Clerk. Do I have a motion?
I'll give it a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mooring Clerk. This is Susan Hazen, Town Clerk, Barbara Demento, and Susan Leach. This is until 6/30/2014. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Parking Clerk. This is till 6/30/2014. Susan Hazen, Town Clerk, Barbara Demento, and Susan Leach. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town clerk, assistant, 1-year term till 6/30/2014. Barbara R. Demento. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
It's a vote, it's a vote.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Boudreaux's here.
Mr. Boudreau,
My apologies for being late, sirs.
sit right there. We've been reserved the seat for you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're running a little bit late, that's okay. Okay, we have a 7:15 appointment with Paul Boudreau, Steve Conley, discuss bicycle competition. Paul Boudreau sent Debbie attached email regarding the bicycle race. Selectmen need to discuss the event with Paul and Steve. Okay, number of races, number of spectators, traffic control, emergency access to Seaview, restroom facilities, land area for event. Are there any environmental sensitive areas, food vendors, any permits required? These proposals need to be thorough review by various town departments such as police, fire, highway, health, and conservation commission. Okay, received an email from Paul Boudreau. Hi Debbie, Steve Conley mentioned that he spoke to you yesterday about the proposed event. I just wanted to summarize what we were trying to accomplish and describe the impacts on the town of Raleigh. National level bicycle race, bringing competitors from all over the United States and Canada to a 2 days, 28th and 29th of September. The race course is completely contained within Comley Farm. Races and spectators will only park in approved areas property owned by Comleys. We expect about 900 races per day. First race begins at 8 a.m. Final race is over at 4:30 p.m. Request access to Mansion Drive from Seacrest Retreat and Bowerly Drive from Mansion Drive to Comley property. These roads will only be used just before each race for staging and the race start. We'll instruct racers and spectators to come via Route 1A, Cross Street, Kittery Ave, with no street parking. Race traffic will flow into the property at Kittery Drive entrance. Your businesses will enjoy having our event in your town. Addressing the issues with our current host city, all the issues are related to the impact of the race to the grass. Otherwise, the city mayor's office, park department, police, chamber of commerce, and open space committee love our event. The current venue is a city-owned park. In moving to the event to Raleigh, private land mitigates the negative impact. I have letters of support from Gloucester Police, open space that show regarding to Selectmen cable access. No problem doing this if that's what's required. However, as you can see in the bullet, I fits to the town far away any inconvenience to the residents. We keep this. Okay, go on. Anyways, this is a long-standing event, and I wish to keep the information from the venue change as quiet as possible. Well, everybody seems to know it right now. Okay. Okay. Kind regards, Paul Boudreau. Oh, with that, Paul.
Okay. So, what are the main
You
questions?
can sit down. You don't have to stand up if you.
Okay, great. Okay. So, touches upon everything. Its race is much like biking. The access for Mansion Drive and Bowery is really just for staging and just the sanctioning body that I work with. As part of the course design, they require us to start on pavement. So on the Comley Farm, there's a small section of pavement, but that doesn't work for us. So that means basically the entrance into his And I think basically, you know, we're looking at blocking that portion of the road for a few minutes every hour. Racers go onto the farm, and then that's it until the next race. We would have them stage probably in a parking lot or something, have them get to the road where they would block the road for a few minutes, and have the whistle go off, and then they're off on the course. So I would expect that portion would just be minutes every hour.
How often would you stage a race?
Basically every hour. So
Every hour?
Yeah, 8 o'clock, amateur races, the pro women and pro men later on in the afternoon.
How many races altogether?
I think we do, is it 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and so about 8 races.
8 races. They begin what time again?
They go pretty much on the hour, except for the elite women are 2:30, the elite men are 3:30.
So where's the first race?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah. The earlier races are 40-minute duration.
Mm-hmm.
The pro men are an hour duration.
Any questions from the board?
You mentioned the number of races you expect about 900 per day.
Yeah, and that's
About
good.
guess as to the number of spectators?
Yeah, you know,
Roughly.
it being a new venue, I would expect a little less than what we had at our previous city. You know, maybe 500 to 1,000. I'm just taking a guess here. A lot of those spectators will come with the racers, so you know, somebody brings their husband and children, that sort of thing. That's typically the spectator base is racers, family, and friends that show up for this.
How many did you have over in Gloucester?
We had about 920 competitors each day, and you know, spectators maybe a couple of thousand each day. But you know, it took a while to kind of build to that. So we've been doing the race for 14 years.
And you did the race. Where was the park that you did it in?
Stageford Park.
Stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Down by the water, down
Right.
heading towards Magnolia.
Exactly.
Magnolia,
Yeah. And the street where we used to close down House Street, which is what goes right through the park there. So we would close that at both ends.
And they have parking facilities within the park, right?
They do. Yeah.
Okay. And what is the capacity of the park? Do you know?
For parking, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we did have a little bit of run over for parking, but as I said, the spectators are expected to be a little less for this event.
Where would be the parking on the Conley property?
On the entrance where I mentioned in my email, we would basically just have them, I'm sorry, what's the name of the street? Kittery Avenue. So they would go Kittery Avenue right to there's a smaller gate that goes into their property, so they would go into there, and most of the parking, I would suspect, would be over on the right-hand side. There's some grass that we're going to mow and place everything
Steve.
there.
As you drive up Kittery, okay, where would that gate that's straight ahead, that gate would be open and onto that field would be the parking?
Yeah.
And how many cars can you fit in there?
Probably 800. I do have an overflow, if necessary, and we could shuttle some people. But I'm guessing about 800 cars could fit in there. It's a 70-acre piece.
We're earmarking about 40 acres for parking, but we have up to 100 if we need it.
I don't know if Stage 4 Park is 40 acres in total.
No, I don't think so.
We're trying to contain this all right on the property, our property.
Where are these people gonna stay? Because it's a 2-day event. Are we talking people gonna be camping out up there, or are they coming and going each day?
Impacting all the locals, same in Gloucester. I'll tell you who I am, Dan Mayer. I'm actually on the board of directors for Essex County Trail Association. I put these two gentlemen together because I knew Paul from high school, and I've known Nate and his brother here because we were farm managers right next to each other in Hamilton. So when I knew that he was having the trouble on public lands because doing this event, the grass gets torn up and things like that, Stage 4 Park is a high visibility area. It had been there for 14 years, but you get a rainy season and trying to get grass to grow in its wake doesn't really do too well for a town park, and then people don't tend to care about your event. So bringing it to private land seemed like the ultimate, fix, and then bringing it to a town like Rowley is a pretty, if you look at the website for this, it's a real, I call it an international event, but certainly a national event. That kind of coverage and the level of athletes is, he didn't mention it, but you do get guys from Europe coming to race in this. It's really something to put on the map. Really would give Raleigh a lot of attention, a lot of people coming to the businesses in town. Ecta's backing it because we see the great thing we're trying to, Essex County Trail Association has always been a lot of trail users in the equine runners, so we're reaching out to more of the runners, bikers, and things like that, the people that are using our trails. It was natural for us. And we know Rowley's got trails because we've been approached before to take on helping out with Rowley's trail system, but there hasn't been funds to do that. So this might be a good launching pad, but
Okay, now, the only access to the property is down Kittery, correct?
And Fennel.
In Fennel Drive.
right, Kittery to Fennel.
And we'll make, there'll be access area for parking if this turns into a really, a good turnout. There'll be access for another 1,000 cars if that has to be. We do have the land to do that, and we will be ready for it if that does happen. But we're from talking to him, and we're looking at about 800 cars, I'm thinking, down there, and we can accommodate that. But if it turns into 1,500 or 2,000 cars, we can accommodate that too.
And they've done shuttle buses in the past, so, no, not you,
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
I was talking to my other friend, you can do shuttle buses, parked at Todd Farm or something like that, but.
Yeah.
I think traffic is gonna be
I'm just
a
thinking about,
very, very serious concern, because,
Certainly.
you talk about Fennel Drive, I'm not sure. I haven't been down there since 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know how really accessible that is. On top of that, Fennel Drive itself is narrow, and I believe it's a dirt road when you get up towards, closer to the Seaview, isn't it? There's been no improvements to that road, has there, from?
We've
You're
maintained,
talking Fennel coming through from Central Street to
it's
access.
all maintained, it's passable,
But it is a dirt road.
correct.
And then, if you're talking, with 900 races, you're probably talking, say, conservatively 12 to 1,400 vehicles coming in Saturday, going home Saturday. Some more or less in and out all day, and then the same thing on Sunday. Have you reached out to the homeowners or anybody that lives, the access it's a single, basically, I think 90% of the traffic's gonna come in Kittery Ave. I don't know if you're gonna get too much on Fennel
We
Drive.
really gotta start here
Yeah.
with you all before we reach out to them, so.
I would say probably even higher than that.
Well, I'm just going conservative. In other
Yeah,
words,
conservative.
it's a minimum, I'd say 1,200 cars. If in fact you've been getting 900 races are probably a given, right? I mean, that's what's been showing up.
I would overestimate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would overestimate and be,
And then I guess my other concern is this year in particular. I remember years ago, we parked cars down there when the Pumpkin Fest was going on from the Pine Grove School, and I'm just wondering, with all the rain we've had and everything else, I have no idea how drivable. I know the Topsfield Fair, and you get weather like this, and they have to close down half their parking areas because of,
you could be so lucky to get a crowd like Topsfield Fair to come
no,
down.
but I mean, I'm just saying that if you're,
We'll find parking, right?
Yeah.
how, is the ground gonna be
Yeah, some of the areas get so wet that you can't
sufficiently
move.
And,
hard to accommodate that kind of traffic.
I mean,
I don't know, I have no
there's
idea.
enough elevation on that land that if need be, we can move parking to different parts of the land to.
We have highland paddock areas, cow pastures that are highland. Preferably, we like to keep them down below and keep everything centralized, but there is several paddock areas that we have that could suffice.
And I guess the other issue is a public safety concern in terms of, I imagine it.
They have all that.
6 to 8 in the morning, there's gonna be a horrendous traffic jam or backup coming in for,
Not really. Not the guys that race at 3 o'clock in the afternoon are
Yeah.
not going to be there at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
And the same with
the 8
families.
o'clock race, they're gonna have about 100 competitors, 120 competitors maybe, so.
So the competitors, the competitors are becoming and going. I take it,
Right.
they don't sign up for multiple races, they
No.
just,
They have their block.
they have their block, they're racing. So you have how many people per race?
About 100, 120.
100, 120.
Yeah, it depends on the category.
So that's the total of 800 that you're estimating races.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have, when people show up for the race, they they just there for that 1 hour or?
Well, they may stay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you know, there'll be a select group that will come in, do their race, go home, their wife and kids. They've done their workout, they're gone. And then there'll be others that will stay for a while, you know, an hour, 2 hours, and then you'll have a very select few who might do an 8 o'clock race and stay till the 3:30 pro race, you know. What that number is, I don't know, but I don't think it's super high.
What is the world, the competitors, the world-class competitors, how many are there that would come to a race like this?
You know, really, you're talking a few dozen riders. You know, we'll have, we may have people from California, Oregon, Colorado, Canada, and maybe some international riders. In the past, we've had people from Belgium, France. You know, and that's a low number, but they come to this event. So, and that kind of elevates the media. So the cycling media knows our event; they know it very well, and the city gets exposure through that.
So that would be your elite race at 3:30?
Yeah, the elite women are 2:30. You know, and some of them are also from all over the place. And the elite men are at 2:30.
2:30.
So, I mean 3:30. It's 2:30 and 3:30.
Well, the biggest concern I have is Kittery. Kittery Ave is the main access. I think, you know, Dave said 90% of the traffic. I'm probably thinking more like 98% of the traffic is going to come down Kittery into the property. You know, entrance, egress from the property strictly, from what I can see, is going to be Kittery.
I think in your email you actually lay that out, right? Main Street to Cross Street to Kittery Avenue.
You know, that seemed like the most.
well, that's the only
direct-
real access anyway, but you gotta come down 1A to, I mean, you can come in,
I've come in through one.
you can cut across from Central Street, you know, go down School Street and all in those areas, other
Yeah.
streets, but I guess my other question is in terms of health issues, you got bathroom facilities, food, water,
Right.
public safety in terms of ambulance coverage or
Yeah, we have,
emergency services.
typically we have the shed come by with the porta potties. In the past, we've done food vendors, and I know we were talking about, you know, talking to people at the Chamber of Commerce in Raleigh to get some vendors over there. We hire a doctor, and she and I will work for each year. We sit down and we look at the race course and we figure out where people need to be, figure out how ambulance is going to cross the course need be. We have a plan in place for where the emergency people need to be. We usually have we've had Beauport ambulance in the past, but you know, can use.
How many food vendors do you have?
In the past, we've had 10 or so. You know, again, with this being a new venue, everything's kind of, you know, I would love to have 10 or so, but you know, it depends on who we can get in there and permitting process and that sort of thing. So.
Well, what kind of a time frame are you talking that you need, if you need to successfully notify the bikers? I assume, is Gloucester out, or are they just on hold, depending
I'm not
on what we do?
prepared to talk about Gloucester in public, just for marketing reasons. I think a lot of people that count on that event, so I'm not going to state whether it's going to be on or off. But as far as when I would have to pull the trigger on this, I would say the end of July would be nice to have, to be able to tell everybody, here's where the event's going to be.
Now, you mentioned the 28th and 29th of September.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, right.
Okay. Now, are there the same number of races on Sunday as there are on Saturday?
The calendar, the scheduled events for both days was identical, except there's a kids race on Sunday between the elite men and women's race.
Okay. So we're looking at, is there one day that's heavier than the other day? Or are they both the same?
They're both about the same, you know, the numbers vary, you know, I checked the last few years and you know, 25, 30 difference maybe.
A nicer day, there'll be more spectators.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
A nicer day.
The better
Nicer
the
day,
weather.
okay.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we, I don't know if it's the correct motion to table it at this point, but to give the chance for the police, fire, highway, health, conservation, as well as the residents of the area certainly need time to comment and see how they're gonna react to this. So I think if, you know, is tabling the right thing to do with it, or just?
Would the
Take
board
under
like to
consideration.
describe a process for Mr. Boudreau and Mr. Conley to go out? Should they be meeting with the health agent and the police chief and the fire chief? And maybe just presenting this plan to them, or?
Part of the problem you're gonna run into now is most of these boards are on a summer schedule, so that's why I asked you about your time frame, because it's tight to get, I mean, I think there's some big issues here that need to be dealt with. Police and fire, the two chiefs, and the highway, two chiefs can do it, but the health and conservation, I'm sure, is gonna be a little bit more involved than just going to the health agent
We're on
or
a
the conservation agent, so
as Dave says, we're on a 2-week schedule right now, so we meet the 15th and the 29th.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, you're gonna have to meet with police, fire, highway, health, and conservation commission between now and then. So.
and the residents, or
And the residents.
or somehow advise. I don't know how you wanna.
Yes.
So
How you
what-
want to handle I mean, I think residential, these
So, I
people
mean,
are gonna be
that's-
tied up for a weekend, their neighborhood's gonna be completely tied up for a weekend, so I think they
Yeah, so I mean,
certainly
that's,
need to be able to comment on,
Mhm.
even if, you know, we have a comment session at our meeting, you know, next time, so I don't know if, you know, how you wanna handle that, but I think certainly that's appropriate.
Mr. Chairman, may I suggest, if possible, that we get a plot plan or a layout plan of how this is going to come together, where the parking is, where the facilities are gonna be, where the race will be held?
Yeah.
Only because it may help the public safety people when they're making the decision.
sure,
I think that would speed the process up.
sure thing.
If they could look at a plan and say, okay, this is how it's gonna look, and lay it out.
Yeah, you can do
So I
that.
would suggest that we try to do that.
Could we have that in 2 weeks?
Sure.
Okay.
I think even, I'd say sooner than 2 weeks, Bob.
Well,
Great.
well, I mean, at our meeting,
For our meeting on the 15th.
for the meeting on the 15th, so it'll be, you know,
Can we get it for a week, and then we'll have time to look at it before
Yes.
our meeting, so that.
Well, we're gonna want the public safety officials to look
Yeah,
at it, give
we're all
us some
gonna need
input
it
also
anyway,
at
yeah.
the same time, if we can.
Yeah, I'll try to get it to you in a few days, and then I just send it to Dave.
And then disseminate that to the various boards you go to.
but I definitely, you know, want you to, to speak as soon as you possibly can to police and fire, and the highway,
Okay.
Board of Health also.
and the Board of Health.
So when does your Board of Health meet, and what would you, I mean, because if you have to wait for Board of Health to meet and make a
What is it?
decision, or can the chairperson of the Board of Health make that
I
determination.
would-
They're meeting tonight, so I'm not sure when the next meeting will be, but I can certainly find out and let Paul know.
If you go down to the annex on Central Street, you can talk to both the conservation agent and the Board of Health agent, and they can advise you of the, you can do that tomorrow, they should be there
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I would urge you to do that as soon as possible,
Right.
because the more information that they can get, and I think a good idea from Selectman Murray was to have it laid out, so they can see the access,
Sure.
where things are gonna be staged, so that they have the information to bring it forward to their boards and,
And also, get in
Good
touch with the residents because the word is out now, so. Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? Any other suggestions?
All
from
right,
the
so
board?
we'll reschedule, re-examine this at our next meeting. You
Yes.
want to set a time so that these gentlemen can?
Yeah, so I would suggest, if they would like to come in about, we have a 7:15 already scheduled, maybe 7:30.
Is that all right?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
On the 15th.
And what we could
15.
do is also see if we can get those department heads to attend that selectmen's meeting as well, knowing they'll have the time to meet with Mr. Boudreau and Mr. Conley within the next 2 weeks to get some more information.
By then, you should have a pretty good idea anyway what the reaction is.
And also have that map.
Sure.
That'll be
Yeah.
important. Anything
And
else?
just the residents of
Yes.
Kittery are the ones you're concerned about?
Yes, mainly.
Yeah.
yes.
Kittery Cross,
Cross, yeah.
that access from 1A
Mhm.
primarily. I mean, I'm sure the word's gonna get out real quick.
Mhm.
It's out there now, so.
Yeah. This is
There'll
what-
be
this
a
is the highly-
reaction,
This is the highest rated show on Monday night.
Well, at least you didn't have to be on another committee. When we come back, it'll be committee assignments for everybody.
All right.
All right.
Well, we certainly want this to be a positive event for the town.
Okay.
And that's our agenda here.
Beautiful, thank you for your
All
time.
right,
Okay,
thank
thank
you very much for
you.
coming in,
Thank you.
John.
Apologies for being late, thank you so
Good
much.
to meet you all.
Yep, nice to meet
All right, have a
you.
good evening.
Good to meet you.
All those committees, that's impressive.
Nice to meet you.
You need a couple more
Nice to
board
meet you.
members.
Take care.
Wow, we're right on time.
Moving along. Okay, again, it is 7:47. 7:45, we have Ken Ward and Harry Bennett for plumbing. Ken, we have a seat up here reserved for you.
He's going out the back door.
Go out the back door.
Quick, lock the back door.
Wow. Someone tackle him, okay? Something I said?
Tough board.
I think he escaped.
Okay, again, if Ken comes back, we have a 7:45 appointment in Harry Bennett for plumbing and gas inspector appointment. Building inspector Ken Ward is recommending that the alternate plumbing and gas inspector Harry Bennett be appointed to the position of plumbing and gas inspector. And if he ever comes back, he has served in the position of alternate for the past year. Oh, hi, Ken. Glad you came back.
He'll be here momentarily.
Oh, we will, okay. All right.
Do the reappointment club, further down.
We,
Go to chapter 44, 33B, transfer.
How about the new appointment?
Nobody's trying to tell you what to do.
Number 2.
oh, no, of course not, no. Okay, we go back to what, general business number 2,
Yeah.
FY
Yeah, we
14.
should really go through those.
Appointments. Town Common Restoration Committee, Stuart Dalzell, citizen rep. This is till 6:30, 2014, previously served as the selectman's rep.
I'd like
This
to
is
make
an
that
addi- this is-
appointment.
This is an additional position, you said, Debbie?
So,
This
with,
is,
Additional.
This is
This-
this is the citizen's rep.
yeah, this will
position.
be the citizen rep, so you've, in theory, just expanded the committee by one.
Stu, you're here, so you're still interested, right?
Stu said he would like to be on, and he has obviously got the institutional knowledge of what's going on, so.
We're not gonna let you out of the room, Stu. So, anyways, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Stu.
Congratulations, Stu.
Okay, Raleigh Emergency Management Agency. This is a one-year term. Steve May, Assistant Director. This is all these until 6/30/2014. Okay, now the Assistant Director, this was previously held by Scott Lovett, was appointed Assistant Director. So, Steve May, Assistant Director. Frank Mangiani, Health, Board of Health. Denise Gilman, Council of Aging. Jim Marino, Joseph Perry, Dan Folding, Light Manager, Ron Keith, Highway Department. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Stay.
Abstain. Okay. Local Emergency Planning Commission, one-year term, Ron Keith, Highway Department. This is till 6/30/2014.
Make the motion.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Northern Essex Regional Emergency Planning Committee, Ron Keith Highway Department. This is until 6/30/2014.
I'll make that
I
motion.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we have another one. It says we have a zoning administrator, one-year term. Ken Ward resigned from this 8/2012. Who should we appoint to replace him? So,
What are the qualifications? Yeah. I mean, is there a,
The zoning bylaw,
Well-
yeah, that you explained.
Somebody should know the zoning bylaws.
mhm.
We could probably hold this till the next meeting.
Okay,
And,
let's table this. All right,
thank you.
sound good?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I figured there's some kind of qualification.
Yeah, and,
Just a.
Ken, you were here, so we asked the question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, again, going back, 7:45 appointment. Ken Ward and Harry Bennett for plumbing and gas inspector. The building inspector, Ken Ward, is recommending that the alternate plumbing and gas inspector, Harry Bennett, who is with us tonight, to be appointed to the position of plumbing and gas inspector. He has served in the position as alternate for the past year. Ken, do you have anything to add to?
He's done a great job. I highly recommend him.
Okay.
I think he lives in town. He'll do a great job.
Okay.
Have you got someone else in mind, Ken, for an alternate?
Yes.
Well, we have to post
we have
that.
No, I know, but I
Okay.
mean, in other
Yeah.
words, there's someone maybe in the pipeline that amongst other people that want different.
I have somebody that's interested.
Okay.
In fact, he's already sent the resume, but
All right, no, that's fine, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Harry Bennett be appointed position of plumbing and gas inspector.
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Harry, welcome.
Mr. Jim, what's the term on that appointment?
That is,
3 years. Well, unless you want to do it set.
No.
The previous one was 3 years for the
did,
electrical, but if you
so
want to.
you made
Yeah, I'll
3
make
years.
the motion, it'll
3
be
years.
3 years.
I'll
That's what
second
you
that. I'll
recommend,
second
Ken?
that.
I have a
Yes,
second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3 years.
that's what the other
Yeah,
inspector
that's
said.
fine.
Everything,
The
yeah.
motion, the second,
Okay.
for the 3 years.
So it's till 2017.
Actually,
16.
make it, ours were till 2016. so
16,
make-
2016, I'm
so
sorry,
make his
2016.
2016.
Yeah,
and then
2016
it'll
is
go
fine.
from there.
All right.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the names.
Dave Peterson, Bob Perry, and Jack, Rob Snow, Joe Perry, and Jeff
Okay.
Hunter.
Harry, welcome.
Gentlemen, Harry is very conscientious.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, Harry. Nice to meet you, Harry.
Harry, thank you.
Nice to meet you, welcome aboard.
So he needs one and 20.
Again, thank you.
So, I'm over see the town clerk in the morning.
All right.
Get sworn in for
All right.
Okay.
All right, will do.
the. Okay.
See you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
thanks, Ed.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Mr. Chairman, just so you know, Glenn Fougier is running a little bit late. He's coming out of work in Boston,
Okay.
so
All
he
right.
should be here sometime, after 8.
Well, we got Ken here, can we drop down to 5 and 6?
Sure.
We don't have to keep Ken here all night.
I wasn't there, it'd be someplace else, Jack.
You want to go out the
Just a
back door
thought.
with it?
I appreciate that.
Sneak out the back door again.
Okay. Moving down to general business number 5. Okay. This is from an email from Ken Ward, June 26th. Debbie, I'm respectfully requesting that the hiring freeze be lifted so that the position administrative assistant for the inspection department may be advertised. Thank you for your consideration, Ken. So, any discussion from the board?
I'll make that motion that we lift the hiring freeze.
Okay,
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Second, general business number 6. Hi, this is from Ken Ward, June 27th. Hi Debbie, I'm respectfully requesting that the hiring freeze be lifted so the unfilled position for alternate plumbing and gas inspector may be advertised. This is for the alternate. Thank you in advance. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's obvious why that has to be done.
Sure.
We have no alternate right now, so,
Okay, Ken.
thank
All
you.
right.
You're all set, we'll accept that other one.
What's that?
We'll accept number 7 anyway, probably. Is that yours?
No,
No, that's,
no, that's,
Yeah, no.
Sue Bailey.
No, number 7 is my secretary's resignation, that's why I need.
yep, that's the,
Oh.
yep. She works part-time over there.
Oh, she
Okay.
works for you too, Ken?
She resigned.
Okay, letter resignation from Deborah Rogers. Regretfully, Deborah Rogers resigned from position as assistant town accountant. We have made arrangements with Liz McMorris to work as temporary assistant town accountant this summer while we work to fill the position. Liz holds a bachelor's degree and teaches middle mathematics. Okay.
Assistant town accountant is appointed by the Board of
Okay.
Selectmen.
Dear Sue, this is to inform you I'll be resigning from my position assistant
Statutory requirement.
to the town accountant for the town of Raleigh. My last day of work will be June 27th, 2013. Thank you for the opportunity to work for the town of Raleigh in this position. I enjoyed learning about our town, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Deborah Rogers.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept Deborah's resignation from the position of town accountant and assistant to the building inspector
Yes.
with regrets.
With regret. Yes. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything else, Ken, we have of yours?
Yeah, new business, he's got a request on the new business.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
This one passes.
Okay.
Oh,
New business number 1, 2 memos. Dear members, I'm respectfully requesting additional money to be placed in the wage line for payment to alternate building inspector to help me with inspections as necessary during the construction boom we are experiencing. Furthermore, I am also requesting my expense line be increased an additional $1,000 to offset the cost of mileage reimbursement paid to all inspectors. I have routinely had to ask every spring for additional money. This year was no exception. As I had to request a transfer from my wage line to my expense line to get me through the fiscal year. Thank you for your time and consideration. Ken Ward, Building Inspector. Also, dear members, I'm respectfully requesting the secretarial hours be increased from 12 to 20 hours per week due to the increased workload in the inspection office. The economy seems to have turned around and the construction is at fever pitch at this time. I cannot review plans, deal with contractors and homeowners, other boards and their issues, conduct required inspections, and take phone calls in the allotted hours allowed. It would be extremely helpful if the town could somehow allocate the necessary money to fund the extra hours requested. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Ken Ward, Building Inspector. Let's take the first one. Any discussion on the board on the first letter?
Well, I think, it's probably a legitimate request. I'm just not sure of the mechanics.
Which one are we talking about?
This is about the $1,000.
Okay.
Requesting the expense line to be increased, additional $1,000 to offset the cost of mileage reimbursement paid to all the inspectors.
Let me give you a little history. If you go back, and I didn't do it, I apologize, I should have given you the chart. I do it on my budget. Every single year for the past 5 years, it's been at least $1,000 more every year, but I'm only allocated $5,065 because I have to level fund it. And every year, every spring, I have to ask for more money, and it's mainly due to mileage. The cost of the mileage keeps going up, and right now, we've never been as busy. Well, we have been that busy when we had the moratorium back in the 90s.
How many more permits do you have right now, Ken?
It's hard to tell because the 25 units on Main Street and the golf course, the 36 units are one, I do them as one permit.
Mm-hmm.
Give them one permit number for the year. But then if you go in and look, I have another category, and if you go in and look, you'll see them all listed out. So technically, those are all new permits too.
Okay.
And right now, there are 7 on Main Street, and to date, 10 at the Carriage Pines, at the golf course. And they're basically doing a duplex a week out there.
A duplex a week.
Yeah.
Are there single-family homes around town?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many permits do you got?
I just did my thing for the census, the government census bureau this morning, and there were 11 permits in June, single families, because the duplexes and the triplexes or the quadplex, they're all listed because of the firewalls as single families attached, detached. I'm sorry. So they're listed as single family. So in June alone, there was 11.
Wow.
For valuation of $3 million something. Just June.
Wow.
Is this something, if we have a fall town meeting, that we can buy any money, Debbie? I don't know how the budget situation fits in terms of, but if we've been doing this every year for 5 years, it's obviously an ongoing problem that really should have been addressed previously, but at this point.
Well, it's like, what's happened is we've been putting a Band-Aid on it every year, and I understand. And I try to do what I can do with what I have, but in May, if I don't have the money to pay for June mileage, nobody's gonna, you gotta have the money to put in your gas tank. It's that simple.
Well, if you drive around town, you can see, it's not only new houses, it's all the additions and, the building permits and alterations, they're everywhere. Everything has exploded, there's no two ways about it. So.
Right.
How many home improvements do you have?
I've issued, as of today, 82 building permits since January 1st. But again, it's really 82, 92 plus another 7, so almost
That's
100.
strictly home improvements.
Oh, no, that's single families too, that's
Those are
total
sing-
permits.
Okay.
I mean, because there's a few signs, there's roofing, there's windows, siding.
Mm.
I would consider those home improvements, but they're not additions or.
Right, right.
It's just.
But they still have to be inspected.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
There's no way we could go, I mean, he's got all his eggs in the basket explaining what he's done and recommend that he get this and go to the finance committee.
Well, I mean, the budget's been established for fiscal 14 already. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
But what I'm asking is, I have enough money to get through this month, okay?
Mhm.
What I'm asking is, I don't wanna have to get through this again next year,
Right.
okay?
A
That's
year
what I'm
from now.
asking. So we don't have to do anything right now. It's something that I'd like to have looked at, you know, over during the fall or
In other
during
words,
the
if we have
winter.
a fall town meeting, you'd like to have something,
Yeah,
hopefully to address that, if we can come up with
So
a funding
uh,
mechanism.
we
absolutely.
can look at that as part of the preparation for the fall town meeting with the fiscal team and see where we would possibly be able to make a transfer.
Right.
You know, if not, we would hold tight to the spring town meeting and do a transfer, but certainly for the fiscal 15 budget,
Yeah.
I think that's where the selectmen have
So
to
you're
start
all
look
set
on.
now though, Ken, right?
Expense
Oh,
budgets.
I'm all set
Yeah.
on I have 3 lines. I have a salary line, which is the inspectors, myself and the plumbing and gas and the electrical. Then I have the wage line. Now, the wage line is for a secretary and for the alternates when they work, when they fill in. Then I have the expense line. The expense line is all set, and I think I have enough, well, I know I have enough in the wage line. But I won't have enough in the wage line next year, okay? If I'm gonna be using my alternate building inspector, I will be short on that line.
Okay. So, on the second sheet of paper, going from 12 to 20 hours, you have enough money to fund that?
No,
No.
not for 14.
no. All I have in that, Bob, is enough for the wages for 12 hours.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That's budgeted. And then we have money in there for the alternates, but what I'm saying is, who knows what's gonna happen, if anybody's gonna be out? I mean, you can't tell. But if I hire the alternate building inspector, okay, more than what I have been using him
Right.
for, which I would like to do, I'm definitely gonna be short. So it's something that'll have to be looked at.
Hold on.
Maybe we can squeeze by again in the spring, but it definitely has to be looked at if things keep going the way they're going for next year.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. That's for the alternates, for the
That's for the wage line,
wage line?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that will also be the secretarial line too?
yes,
Yes.
For the
Yes.
two? Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, may I suggest that we have the physical team, particularly if we're gonna have a fall town meeting, to look at this
Okay.
and come back with some
Do
recommendations.
we need a motion to do this, or we just need a,
Well, if the board wants to just take a directive, so we have,
let's.
Well, I'm making the suggestion, so.
Okay.
I copied the personnel board too, so I'm sure that the
Personnel
personnel
board
board.
is gonna wanna look at, the
let's
FinCom is
personnel
gonna wanna
and the
look at
FinCom.
it. So we can get the physical team together and discuss it and see if we can come up with a solution.
Okay. We'll send
Yeah,
this
that
to-
in the form of, is that a motion?
Well, it's not really a motion,
Motion,
it's just a
just a
suggestion
directive.
at this point. I think what we need to do is, we're not positive yet we're gonna have a fall town meeting.
Right.
It looks like we may need one,
Right,
so if we decide to do that, then we should be looking at this at that time.
right.
I think the way things look, we're probably gonna have a fall town meeting.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't see how we're gonna avoid it,
We don't.
but I think,
We just need to keep an eye on it, and
Mhm.
once it starts, once the decision is made, then we need to look at this and come up with a game plan.
Right,
so I
I
think.
agree.
Mr. Murray's directive, I think that's, we aim that towards the personnel board and the finance committee. Okay.
And the physical team.
And the fiscal team.
well, the fiscal team reports to the selectmen. We'll come up with something, we'll look
Okay.
and see what's out there, bring it back to the selectmen. In terms of the personnel board, they can certainly evaluate the need for expanded the office assistant to work more, and then looking at the job description of the alternate building inspector, if it's really become more of an assistant building inspector that would work maybe in the office along with Ken, not just while he's out on vacation or something.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
to maybe take some direction, during the workday from Ken to go check various inspections and things like that.
Okay. All right, Ken,
Thank you very much.
thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
You want to exit that door or this door?
Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Good night, Ken.
All right, we're still waiting for Mr. Puget to show up. And we have, it's now 10 after the hour. Go back to general business number 3, chapter 44, 33B, transfers. Okay, treasurer collector administrative assistant wages to treasurer collector department expenses. Transfer $1,000 from line 26 TC administrative assistant to line 27 treasurer collector department. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We all have to sign this?
Yeah.
For approval. Wow.
If I may make a comment on the, as long as we're discussing treasurer collector, if anybody got online before today, if they got their real estate tax bill,
Yes.
yeah, by email, and tried to get on last week. It's fiscal year 14 started today, and that's why you couldn't do it last week. And you could had to wait until today for the new fiscal year to start. So if anybody had any problems, that's why, and it's okay to do it now.
Yeah, actually, you really can't mix the two fiscal years together. And
No.
that's why the program is written that way, because it would mess up the whole process. You get credit for 13, and you would
That's,
get a refund for 14. So
Yeah.
it's not
it
gonna
has
work.
to be, it has to be
Has to be within that fiscal
within the
year.
fiscal year.
Right.
Okay. We did do general business number 4, correct?
Right.
My assistant town accountant, Deborah Rogers, has resigned from the position in order to take another job. Her last day is June 27, 2013, which we already said. I would like the Board of Selectmen to lift the hiring freeze so that I may hire someone to fill this position.
For the assistant
Sue-
town accountant.
Assistant town accountant, that is Sue Bailey, town accountant. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that takes care of the first 7 items of general business. Moving down to, okay, general business number 8. To sign the MOA with the Teamsters Local 170. The Board of Selectmen has reached an agreement with Teamsters Local 170 Fire for a successor contract that covers the next 3 years. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote the MOA.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I am going to recuse myself from this vote.
certainly. Understand, Mr. Murray? Okay. With that, any discussion from the board? No discussion? Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, we all need to sign, except Mr. Murray. Jim Clark. Just 1 second.
That's a dim checker.
Sure. Dave? Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mr. Murray's back to the table. Okay. Authorize an agreement with the MVRTA for the Council on Aging van. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to authorize the renewal of the Council on Aging van with the Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority effective fiscal year 2014. Chairman Snow needs to sign the agreement. These are two originals for Chairman Snow to sign. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I will sign.
I'm assuming it's a standard contract that we've used before.
Yes. Okay. That concludes all general business. Okay, new business is concluded. Still waiting for Mr. Fouché. Let's go to old business. Okay, Stu, we're gonna discuss the water treatment plant, the change orders. Can you give us any update on that, Stu?
Change order, I think it's number 5 was to do, that this being discussed, it's wiring a pump. And personally, I think the price is excessive myself. These change orders, I'm not happy to say the least. The iron beam that was
That's the one.
changed in the front of the building, I did not support that. That was somewhere around a $13,000 change order. I feel that.
Do you remember what change order number that was, Stu? It was 5 and
I think it was 4.
4? Okay.
And I felt that the engineering firm that designed the building made the error there. That's how I feel about it. Somebody, they do this every day,
Mm-hmm.
and change on a number 5 that's being discussed is wiring a pump, and that's,
That was like from let's say point A to point B for wiring, and the wiring was not placed, correct?
I know there was some wiring issues on something. I'm
I-
not sure whether it was the pump or not, but it's, I mean, it would seem to me the pump is a key piece of equipment in
Yeah.
a plant like that.
that's how I feel about it.
And if you're not wiring it, I mean, somebody really must have messed up.
That's about somewhere around $17,000 change order. Just like a tank that was put in a building, they had to redesign it at the first of it. The wrong size.
Stu, do you know if there's been any movement on that? We had sent them a letter 2 or 3, or maybe a month ago now, and then they sent us back a kind of a non-response, and then we
Yeah.
kind of sent it back to them again to get a response from the contractors or the Weston and Sampson or whomever, and do you know if anything is?
At last
developed on that?
Tuesday's meeting, had not been a response.
Okay. Thank you.
There hasn't been a response to the change order?
To our letter.
To our letter, oh, okay,
Yeah, as of last Tuesday's
okay.
meeting. At tomorrow night's meeting, if there is any response, I will call Debbie
Okay,
so she can tell you gentlemen.
thanks, Stu. Yeah, give us, I'm really interested in that, the $17,000 on change order number 5. Interested in that.
As Bob said, that's how do you miss something like that in the design?
Yeah, how can you wire up a pump if you don't put the
Exactly.
wire in?
Exactly right.
I mean, I worked in the engineering field, and if I forgot, from A to B, I mean, there'd be hell to pay.
Yeah.
Really.
You'd be outside looking in.
Yeah. So,
I realize we need to move forward, get this treatment plant done, but I voted for one change order, and that was $975, but these others, I feel are excessive.
okay, Stu, also, the outstanding invoices.
Outstanding invoices, the one with the locksmith
That's
was,
Seacoast,
yes. I believe they're in Salisbury.
Salisbury.
That was discussed last week's meeting, and the locksmith took off 10%, so we agreed to pay it. This is somewhere around, with 2 invoices, I think they totaled about $2,100.
Any other invoices besides that? There was a Yankee Pine, one other Yankee Pine that
Yankee Pine,
had not been submitted. There were the two that the selectmen had already had that they voted on, which were processed. But there was one other Yankee Pine that the water board had never approved. It was a window, I think that's what,
That was approved
was that all set then?
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that came through on
I
the,
think that was it
on the
then.
warrant last week.
Okay.
That was the window. Okay.
Yeah, that was the window, I was there for that meeting, when they
Okay.
approved the window.
The only two that,
Those are the only two. Nothing else.
Well,
has been-
there were bills that had not been submitted related to the garage addition from an electrician and one more on a contractor who issued a change order for work in there that hadn't been submitted.
All
And
right.
this locksmith is on the garage addition also,
It was,
it's on the gates,
on the gates?
and
part of it was the
And the
garage,
block.
Joe, but other parts were from the consent order from DEP on the well
Oh, that's right.
locations
We gotta-
and so forth, that
Yes.
the locks had to be
Mhm.
repaired.
Right, right.
Okay. So that's taken care of. Anything else?
I would like to, I came 2 weeks ago, and Joe and Bob, you gentlemen were absent, so I wanted to come back again when you 5 are here to invite you gentlemen and Debbie and Amy, if you would like, to go to Nashua to look at the Nashua water system that's privatized. The gentleman that would show us around, he's taking some vacation time this week. Next week he has training classes, the third week in July.
And that's
Sometime then.
that company that's Penachuk, right?
Then I check.
Penachuk. Okay. Anybody here interested in going?
I'd definitely go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let us know the date and
Yeah,
Well,
that you choose.
if I get a date from you gentlemen,
I think all of us are interested in going. We could go, we'll have to,
Think
Put it on
Stewie
the
had an
bulletin board.
idea of maybe getting the council on aging bus too. Did you check into it?
Jack came up with an idea, and I have not checked into it yet, but I will, and then we have a backup plan if they're tied up or whatever of renting a van. We took a vote at the meeting 2 weeks ago.
the 4th, the 11th, 18th.
So
I'd like it to be on a Thursday if it's okay with the rest of the board.
what time on Thursday?
I'm available all day.
Okay, I would like to be after 10,
Okay,
10 or after.
The 18th rings a bell, I'll have to check my schedule.
Okay. Okay,
You gentlemen come up with a date sometime in, like the Thursday, the third week in July, or
Yeah, if we all-
whatever, when you can all get together.
yeah, if we all get together, then we just have to post it, that's all. Then we
Right.
have a meeting,
Right,
as a meeting,
then I can let the Penachuk know.
okay.
They're gonna work for your board too, Stu? They're gonna work for Tim and Roy?
whether Roy will be there or not, he's driving a truck if he can get the time off, and Tim said it'll work for him.
Would. Can't we set something tonight, except for Bob, gotta look at his calendar,
Yeah.
and waiting, because we don't meet for 2 weeks.
That's right.
So what we would be coming is 2 weeks from tonight, and then you're gonna run right into Thursday. And I would say Stu would have to.
Well, that would, we
Line
meet on the
something up within a
15th,
week.
and you're talking about the 18th with the following Thursday.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the date you're talking?
July 18th.
July 18th.
Thursday the
Which will be
18th.
13th. And
You want to make it for 11 o'clock, or do you want to make it at 10 o'clock? As I said, I'm
10
free all
o'clock is
day.
fine. 10 o'clock is
10
fine.
o'clock?
10 o'clock. Meet here and then go.
Dave,
All right.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Jack?
Yeah.
Well, let's be tentative on Bob, because we
Yep.
need Bob to come
Yeah,
along.
but, yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be July 18th.
July 18th.
Thursday, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So Amy will need to post that.
As the old saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
exactly.
Okay.
I gained a lot just going to Salisbury to talk with the gentleman over there, that's the DPW director. They privatized 12 years ago, and they never looked back. They tickled pink.
Wow.
Well, let's take a look at it and
Yep.
we'll see. Okay. That it, Stu?
Yes.
All right.
I think so, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight, Stu.
No,
You're
actually,
welcome.
he's still gonna stay for the,
I knew we made a good move putting you on the board.
I'm trying.
Still issues down there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right, Stu?
Serious issues.
Yeah, serious stuff.
All right. Okay, move on, excuse me. Move on to old business number 3, Town Administrator Update, Brad Street Farm Baseball Field Project. Okay, the Conservation Commission approved the Selectmen's request for a determination of applicability under the State Wetlands Protection Act during the June 18, 2013 meeting. The determination applicability, it's not coming out tonight, has a list of conditions that the Selectmen will need to follow. The next step is for Debbie to begin working on the stormwater application. We will need 2 applications, one under the town stormwater bylaw and the other from the Federal Environmental Protection Agency.
So, Vice Chairman Mary attended that Concom meeting on behalf of the selectmen. We had a conflict that night. So attached is the signed determination of applicability from the Concom. I want to thank the conservation agent, Brent Baslak. He's tremendous. He helped me, complete the application and, getting it filed and signed and distributed in accordance with all the requirements under the State Wetlands Protection Act. So I just want to note that for the board. He was very helpful. And if you look through your package, it's pretty standard. At the end, there are some special conditions which somewhat standard to these RDAs that we'll need to follow throughout the whole construction project. And then there's a memo from the conservation agent to the Conservation Commission that I believe he discussed with the board that evening, and Mr. Murray can attest to that.
Well, Brent does an excellent job. We're so lucky to have him. Okay. Anything else? We don't need to vote on this or anything. This is all.
No, I just wanted to give an update that that needed to be done before we move on to the next part.
Deb, thank you very much.
That bittersweet is doing it. As invasive plant is doing a job all around town, not only on the wetlands.
Bittersweet?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. We've had to cut out a lot of it on the property.
Really?
Yeah. Choking out the trees and everything.
Town administrator update on town hall clock bid. Debbie has been working with Bob Murray on the town hall clock project. Attached is a draft of the bid documents, and Debbie would like to publicly release, God bless, it on July 3rd. The Board of Selectmen needs to approve the draft bid documents and authorize Debbie to release it tomorrow.
I'm actually gonna move that till Wednesday. Gonna release it on Wednesday, the 3rd.
Debbie and I are gonna get together tomorrow to just give it one last review
Okay?
and finalize the draft so that they can go out on Wednesday.
And that's it?
That's it?
That's it? Okay.
Looks good.
So we would just need an authorization to follow through on that, to have the authority to make any changes to
Need a
the
motion from the
draft.
board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from the board. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Clock's gonna work.
So what?
Clock's gonna work.
We hope so, as long as
Hope
the
so, no more firearms.
as long as the batteries don't run out. We'll be all set.
Okay. Well, we have conducted everything tonight,
And then the 8 o'clock appointment.
and I'm gonna try to talk as slow as I possibly can.
We had a lot of real bad weather, so Glenn's
Yeah.
probably really held up.
Yes.
Boy, it'll rain
Imagine
this
the
afternoon.
flooding on the roadways. It's
Yeah,
gonna
they
be
said it
really
was
tough.
horrendous.
Yeah, you had to come from Boston too.
We had a couple inches here, so I think
Yeah.
a lot of places.
Slowest thing down up there on Route 1 through Saugus and all that. Just on
Oh,
a
yeah?
regular rainy day, yeah.
Yeah, that underpass on
Yeah,
Route 1, we had a friend
Yeah,
drove right into it. The car was flooded.
I wonder what it is in downtown Peabody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My nephew lives
Couple of
there.
feet on
Gets
there,
flooded
some
every
spot.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Glenn is about 10 minutes away.
10, okay.
There's just one other, the health department sent that in today, if you could read that in,
Sure.
about mosquitoes.
Okay, the Raleigh Board of Health would like residents, let me read it real slow. Raleigh Board of Health would like residents to please use precautions to protect your family and yourself when outdoors during peak hours. Mosquito protection. 4 useful tips to reduce exposure to mosquitoes. 1. Avoid outdoor activities at dawn, dusk. These are times of day that infected mosquitoes are most active. 2. Wear long sleeve and pants outside for extra protection. Use repellent on thin clothing. 3. Use repellent containing DEET. Follow label instructions and always wear repellent when outdoors. Choose products containing up to 20% DEET. 4. Drain standing water in your yard, in your neighborhood. Flower pots, bird baths, old tires, and clogged rain gutters are just a few of the items mosquitoes use to breed. And that's probably a pretty good idea, going through your property and checking all those places where standing water can form.
Yeah, particularly after the storms we've had the last couple of days. I did notice tonight when I went out to my car, there was a lot more mosquitoes around
Yes.
the car than I've noticed in the past. So I think with all this water, we're starting to get another hatch. And they're gonna be pretty bad, in short term at least.
I took, my dog has been on antibiotics for 30 days now because he get bit by a mosquito down with
Lyme.
Lyme.
Wow.
So he's been, he's 12.5 years old. He's probably sitting home right now watching.
Bob, buy me some deep.
I need some deep, yeah, so.
You didn't put long sleeves on me when you took me out.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't wear that fur coat all the time in this hot weather, you know? So, but no, anyways, he came down with Lyme disease, so it is out there. So, use caution. And, use long sleeves when you're going outside. And, you know, as we all know, we're all mosquito experts in town. We have a couple of different types of mosquitoes that come at different times of year. We have 4 different types of mosquitoes, if I remember correctly. There's one that's in the grass. We all know about that one. All you have to do is take a step off the porch, onto the grass, and, you know.
Yeah.
That one shows up at all different times. Those were the tiger mosquito, Bob, you know.
Well, basically, there are some that really don't bite. It's the female, particularly in the salt marsh mosquito. And you recognize a salt marsh mosquito by its striped legs, and its white stripes on its legs. And of course, Raleigh has a lot of salt marsh, and so that's the one that you gotta be careful of.
Okay.
Did you say that you saw some greenheads? No?
Stu did, didn't you?
You saw greenheads?
First one today.
Yeah, particularly with this weather that we've had, and if we get 90-degree days this coming week, which they're talking about on Friday, Saturday.
Yes, they are.
We go out.
We will have a hatching of
God.
greenheads.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could find a bird that eats these things?
Well, I don't
Invite
know.
them to Raleigh.
We were on the Common on Saturday with the 4th of July celebration, and I don't know if you folks noticed it, but I didn't see any mosquitoes.
No, I didn't.
No.
No, none.
But what I did see was a lot of dragonflies.
Yep.
They take a lot of
And
mosquitoes out.
dragonflies eat mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, hopefully.
Them and
we've got-
bats.
We've got a crop of those, and
Bats take a lot
they
of.
were doing a good job on the Common on Saturday, so.
Yep.
And the other ones around, when they had the big barns around, helped, I think. The barn swallows.
Mm.
You know, they eat on thousands. You know?
Particularly at dusk, they fly, you see
Yeah.
them flying around. and
Yeah.
They would,
Yeah, I
Load of
know, I used
dragonflies
to
in my backyard,
mow
I
some
noticed
fields,
that.
well,
stirring
that's a
them
good
up.
thing. It really is.
Bats,
I mean, some people are
the
afraid of
swallows
them,
be
but,
falling behind you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do a good
Yep.
job with the mosquitoes. They really do.
Well, now that you've tuned into Raleigh mosquito,
Yeah, we're experts, you know.
yeah, we're experts, yeah. Channel 6, Channel 26 and Channel 9. Mosquito experts. Well, no, it's nothing to fool around with, because I mean, I
No,
know
it is.
myself, I came down with Lyme a couple of years ago and I was sick as
Oh, yeah.
anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very serious these days with encephalitis and triple E.
Yes.
Well, we even
Yes.
got a horse up in Georgetown last year.
That's right.
Bite.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Killed a horse.
Yeah,
Well, a
that's right.
person too.
One
I
of the
mean,
former building inspector passed away.
That's right.
Was it a year ago?
And the other thing is, you know,
Armadillo, Jack. Yeah, that's right. Georgetown.
we live in a great part of the country, but we have certain things we have to watch out for, and that's just one of the things. I mean, other poor people in the central part of the country have tornadoes and hurricanes and that,
Mm.
and we have, you know, mosquitoes and ticks, and we have to be, you know, cautious of that and take precautions.
Yep.
So,
All I could think of this afternoon with all this rain, those poor folks in Arizona, if they could get a downpour.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to a friend in Kentucky. He said it's so dry down there. He said they'd love to have some rain. They need it desperately.
And
Put those fires out.
Arizona, I think, if I remember correctly, my nephew used to live out there, and he just moved back to Virginia. But they don't, there's thunderstorms come out of Mexico. And I don't think they start until like mid-June, July. Then they start like in August, and then they get a deluge.
You know, he's like, yeah, he
It
was
starts early and
leaving
subsides
Boston
so
after
quickly.
work, so he should be here in 10
Again,
minutes.
we're waiting for Glenn Pouget. He's on his way, you know, probably because of the weather, he's been delayed. So that's why I'm talking. And I'll continue talking.
You want to try to go through the announcements, Bob? Or is it-
Okay. While we're waiting for Glenn to show up, I'll read some of the announcements. Riley Food Pantry has needed donations. The Riley Food Pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I talked to the ladies last week, and they told me they're in desperate need of everything, food-wise. Okay, just check any extra food items. Just check the date on the food item. Make sure it hasn't expired, and again, drop it off at the library. There's a basket. Drop it off, or again, drop it off at behind the parsonage at the Baptist Church on Main Street. Again, the food pantry is open Tuesdays 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays 5:30 to 7 p.m. They can use whatever you can drop off to them. Okay, the town has the following vacant seats: Conservation Commission, one open seat; Zoning Board of Appeals associate members, they have 3 open seats; 2 fence viewer positions, and the wood. What?
Glenn just pulled.
Oh, Glenn just pulled in. Okay, and wood lumber bark inspector. Okay, so if you're interested in that, please call the Selectmen's office and let us know. Also, the battery recycling box is located in the town hall and also in the library. Instead of taking those double A's and triple A's and the D batteries and the C and throwing in the trash and including the landfills, right here at the town hall, put them in a plastic bag, put them to the side, and come down and drop them off here, right here in the town hall or at the library. And that business has been booming since we've been doing that, which is good. I mean, we don't want to why pollute the landfills when we can get rid of them and dispose of them properly. Again, bring those batteries and drop them off at the recycling boxes at the town hall or in the library.
And it's actually sponsored by the Raleigh Board of Health.
Yes. So that's a good thing. And again, we're just waiting for Glenn to show up, and Glenn should be here momentarily. See them driving into the parking area. And again, this will be our 8 o'clock appointment with the Recreation Committee Chairman, Glenn Fouché, to discuss the Recreation Committee involvement in sports leagues and to discuss the basketball court improvements. And I can hear Glenn right now, and Glenn is walking down the corridor as I speak. Hi, Glenn. We reserved a seat for you up front.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Glenn, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Happy summer. How you doing?
How are you?
Hi. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Glenn, we know you got delayed in traffic, so people are really glad you showed up, because I've been talking for at least 10 or 15 minutes here. I mean, we've talked about everything, mosquitoes and
Okay.
ticks, and anyways. This is the Recreation Committee Chairman, Glenn Fouché, to discuss Recreation Committee involvement in sports leagues and discuss the basketball court improvements. Recreation Chairman Glenn Fouché is attending tonight's meeting in response to concern raised by Stu Dalzell Sr. regarding the Babe Ruth baseball program during the June 17, 2013 meeting. Chairman Fouché has submitted an email letter from Mark H. Leff, a member of the Board of Directors, Triton Babe Ruth Incorporated. The email letter was from Mr. Leff is attached. Also, Glenn would like to discuss the improvements to the town's basketball court. Glenn, do you want to read that letter, or do you just want to discuss it?
Sure, we can discuss it. I
Okay.
guess it came to my attention that there was an issue regarding Babe Ruth baseball this year, with the town not being able to fund a team for a certain age group. So I reached out to Mr. Leff, who is in charge of that program, and he notified myself that he submitted the various publications to recruit players this year, and unfortunately for that age group, there was only 3 individuals, youth individuals, who wanted to play baseball for Triton this year. So at that time, when you run a program, you have to submit to the league, the number of teams that you're going to submit for your program, and there's a fee involved. So if you commit to a team, you have to pay you have to commit to fund a certain number of dollars to pay for the umpires, things like that. So unfortunately, there was not a number of players. So those 3 individuals were actually farmed out to Ipswich and Hamilton Wenham and other teams for this year for that. I think it was a U16 program. After that, I believe Tim Southall was aware of the situation, he was very involved in baseball, reached out to the Triton High School coach to see if there's any freshmen that wanted to play this spring. I believe there was a number of individuals that wanted to play, and at that point they went in a search mode to find a coach for this program. And I believe they were successful in getting a coach, but it was after the deadline, and they were not part of this particular Triton youth program. So that's the extent of the knowledge I have with Triton baseball at this time. So it happens in every sport. You need a certain number of players. There's fees involved per team, and unfortunately, if there's not enough players, you can't submit a team. And I think in spring sports, especially baseball, it's been hard hit with other programs that have started to take off, i.e. lacrosse and soccer, that are now playing 12 months a year, where in prior years it was the only available sport, and that's why I used to have a larger number of baseball teams in the past. But now there's so much competition, baseball seems to be the hardest hit program to date. So that's my comments regarding that subject.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
No, just, in the email we got, it just mentions that they had 48 players registered for the 13 and 14-year-old level, enough to field 4 teams.
Right.
However, we only had 3 registered, and this is the email from
Mr.
Mark Leff. At the 15 and 16-year-old level, there were only three kids, so therefore they just couldn't field a team. And I just, from my perspective, I just want to make it clear that the Raleigh Recreation Commission does not sponsor these leagues. We don't get involved. We provide the fields for the leagues to play on.
Right. So,
but we don't pick the coaches. We don't run the teams. We don't do anything that other than make the fields available for the kids to play. Is that a
right. I think the mission of what we try to do is sort of manage the budget that the town provides and use that to provide a safe environment for the children of Raleigh and the various communities that use our field. So we were provided a budget of approximately $20,000. We collect that, and we hire various vendors to upkeep the fields and maintain them for a safe playing environment for the children of the town. But as far as coaching or getting the teams, we schedule the fields and collect the fees.
And that's it.
And that's about the extent of our powers, I believe. But we don't do tryouts. We don't pick the coaches. We don't attend the tryouts. It's just outside of our scope.
Stu.
These kids, these youngsters, I'm a firm believer, any youngster that wants to play ball should be able to play. Their parents pay the taxes, many contractors, myself included, donate machine, have in the past up there and helped up there at Jim Bowen on Sunday mornings when he was alive, God rest his soul. It should not be turned away. Tim Southall and Mike Quinn said every kid will play, and then they did an about face. It's not right. Any youngster should be able to play ball. It's not about it winning as much as it's building character.
Well, I understand that. I understand what you're saying, Stu. But I'm from what I hear from Glenn, okay, it's they're not into the actual putting the teams together. They just the Parks and Rec are just to organize the Parks and Recs, to collect the fees and that, not putting the teams together.
Right. So we don't facilitate the organizations, put the teams together, register all the players. We the organizations reach out to us to schedule the fields, and if they have any complaints about the fields with respect to quality of the conditions, then we go inspect them and do upgrades as needed. But the rec committee is not involved with picking the teams, picking the players, or picking the coaches.
Now the unfortunate thing is that we didn't have a team for these three.
Right, if
three
there was a number
players.
of players, if there was 15 children that signed up for the program, a team would have been fielded, but there was only 3 this particular year, so unfortunately,
You have 2 non-residents on the committee. One used, whether he still does or not, bring over his Legion team from Newburyport. And I used to hear complaints about more money going in the field they played than on the other fields. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but every youngster in this town that wants to play ball should be able to play ball. I called Glenn, he would not return my call to ask him about it.
The only issue here, really, and I understand what you're saying, Stu, but if there's not enough kids those leagues are run independently of the town of Raleigh, and if there's not enough kids at that age level to run a team, we can't just stick the 15-year-old in the 14-year-old league or whatever and let them play. They need to find a team that's. And the other thing, other thing is, if there's not even if there was enough kids, if there's not coaches, these people are all volunteers. We don't have the power to order anybody to create a team or to create, find kids.
There were more than enough youngsters to play, and they didn't pick them all. They picked and choose. That's not right.
According to this, and there was only 3 kids at the 15 and 16-year-old level, which certainly is not enough to.
The volunteers up there in the past for machines and labor did it for all the kids, not pick and choose.
No, I don't think we're arguing about that. I think the rec committee's done a great job of maintaining the fields, both the soccer, the little league, the farm teams, the major league teams.
I just think
we're proud to happy, but I mean, if we can't twist people's arms to either join if a kid wants to play lacrosse instead of playing baseball, I don't see how we have any power to. There's nothing we can do about that.
No, but they could be fairer. These kids that signed up to play ball, and then they picked and choose.
Well, if there wasn't enough kids to, I don't know what you can. What can
they
we
had
say?
more than enough kids. They
Well,
didn't
they had
pick
enough
them
kids.
all.
According to this letter, assuming this letter is correct, they had 48 players and they fielded 4 teams for 13 and 14-year-olds, but they only had 3 for 15 and 16. What else can you do?
I understand over 60 signed up.
Well, it's even if 150 signed up, it's the Babe Ruth League baseball that we don't dictate to or control or have any. We say to them, Babe Ruth League, we have a field you can play on. You're more than welcome to play here for a fee.
Why should
But if they don't have a team, they don't have a team.
Why should a gentleman from Newburyport be on this committee and then tell a young man from Raleigh that he can't play and pick somebody else?
The gentleman,
that's not right.
Well, going back years on this board, the gentleman from Newburyport and the gentleman from Georgetown have probably been the most active recreation. That's certainly, I think, probably the longest members on the rec committee. They've done the most work in terms of, I see one of them constantly out there checking the vendors and stuff to make sure the fields are maintained. This entire rec operation is a volunteer operation, and they're doing the best they can with what we can. We can't. If we can't find kids to play, we can't find kids to play. All we can do is provide the facilities, which, the taxpayers do subsidize. But
they had the kids to play.
Facilities are there. If they got enough kids for the team would be playing.
They had the kids to play.
Stu, as I understand it, there wasn't enough Babe Ruth youth at 15 to 16, only 3.
Why wasn't this gentleman decent enough to call me up and explain it to me, return my call?
All right, with respect to Mr. Quinn and being in Newburyport, the reason why he's on the committee because he's very committed to baseball and he umpires a number of teams. And the teams that play down there are AAU or private teams or club teams, which require tryouts. So those teams are at a different level in the town league. So there may have been tryouts at Ayers Park for teams to make those AAU teams, and not everybody makes those teams. As opposed to a town where historically if you try out you get to play.
Okay.
The gentleman in Georgetown, he grew up in Raleigh. I don't deny that. That's fine. But the gentleman from Newburyport, I don't think he's playing fair.
Well, I would say that.
And I stuck up for him for 3 years ago.
Well, it doesn't seem, Stu, that they're not involved directly in the teams, but all they do is oversee the parks and recs. and not the leagues themselves, correct?
Correct.
There should be, any kid who wants to play ball, as I've said several times tonight, he should be able to play ball. Would they rather have him out in the street?
No, I fully agree with you, but the problem is, as I see it here, is it's not the participants in the rec department. It's it's the teams. They're not enough. Not
Lack of kids.
lack of kids.
There were more than enough kids.
Well, yeah, but you get age levels. You might have 100 kids. If they're not the right age level, they can't just jump from one level to another.
Start another team.
Well, we can't find the kids to.
Glenn, are
That's the
these,
problem.
when you get applications in the spring or whatever, are they a group of people from other towns? Are they just Raleigh-based, or are they
No,
bringing
there's a
them
couple
from
of Rams.
Newburyport?
There's a couple of private teams that play at the field, and they pay between $5,000 and $10,000 a year to use the facilities. So they provide us a schedule. We charge them according to the fee schedule, which I believe you all have been provided. So they paying their fair share to use the field. But there are teams outside of Raleigh using the facility, which has been documented, and we collect those fees on an annual basis.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is, when you originate up there to picking the Raleigh, say there's Raleigh kids, say we use a number of 40 people that go up. Do you draw from Newbury and other towns and Salisbury, and they're all in the hat? And they
Well, I think
pick
each
off-
town
off-
provides their own teams. Like the U14s, there's 4 Raleigh teams, and they play surrounding towns, and they
Yeah.
use Ayers Park for the home fields, and then they play up at Salisbury and they play in Newbury, depending on. But it's sort of a round robin process. It's not all Raleigh just using that field by themselves.
Okay, I guess you answer my, I'm not too involved up there, I'm just asking
Okay.
the question, they're all Raleigh kids, or they group them in, and you get 30 applications from Salisbury, you get 20
Right.
from Newbury.
Majority are Raleigh.
Majority?
Yes.
Are Raleigh?
Yes.
Okay.
But once again, the Raleigh Rec Committee doesn't pick the teams, or choose the teams, or choose the coaches, or
We
you
schedule-
guys provide the
we
facilities,
s-
not the league
Right.
representation.
We schedule the fields and collect the fees and ensure
And
it's
when you say collect the fees, you collect the fee from the league, not the individual kids. You collect it
From the team, so from the
team that
organizations,
plays.
from
So
the
the Babe
organizations.
Ruth under 14 comes up, they give you a fee of, I don't know, $300,
Right.
whatever. So you're not involved with the individual kids or the individual parents or any of that kind of
Correct.
stuff. As a committee.
Right.
I
Could you
think
ju-
some of the,
ju-
Mary Claire Dalzell, 47 Warehouse Lane.
Thank
I
you,
think
Mary
some of the confusion was, my son was one of the children denied access, but Tim Southhold, as well as Mr. Quinn, were the people there at the tryouts. So the confusion would be 2 people on the rec committee saying every player will play, and then not being notified until after all the other teams were formed in the league. So our children couldn't even have access to another team because we weren't informed that there wasn't any room on any other team until after the cutoff period. So the confusion is you have 2 rec committee members that are presenting themselves as, I don't know how they present themselves because I wasn't there, but told my husband, as well as other parents there, that yes, every boy will play.
Well,
And then being informed after the cutoff time for any other teams that there's no longer a team being formed.
and Mary Claire, that was because there was only 3 in the 15 to 16 level, age level.
I believe that's an inaccurate statement. I believe I know there were kids in Ipswich that wanted to play as well. And the only reason that I found out, and other people found out, is that we kept on calling, and we were finally notified after all the other teams closed. So we lost the opportunity even to try for another team. and Tim Southhold and Mr. Quinn were the people representing the baseball, you didn't know that they were from this league or that league. They didn't, you know, they're the rec committee people. So it wasn't clear what they were representing, if it was a different league, and if they were representing these other leagues, they didn't notify the other baseball players that there was only a less number of people. I do believe there's more than 3. I know there were some people that weren't even notified about not even being accepted on a team.
Well, I think the confusion here is that that Glenn and Tim, okay, they don't, all they're in charge is the rec committee, not in the actual teams.
You're incorrect, I believe. Mr. Quinn runs a league as well as Mr. Southhold runs a league. Is that correct?
Well, I think, Mr. Chairman,
They
that
coach.
the issue here is, before the selectmen, the issue is the fields. If there's an issue with whether the Babe Ruth had 3 kids or 8 kids or 10 kids, that needs to be brought before the executive board of the Babe Ruth League or the Legion League or whatever particular baseball league. It's not the purview of either the rec committee.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens to be that a rec committee member, I guess, is a member of a executive committee in one of these leagues, that's fine, but that is by itself has nothing to do with the town of Raleigh. We provide the facility, and if there's a complaint about the league not picking kids or not have fielding a team or the fees or whatever, that's properly a purview of the league involved. In this case, it'd be the Babe Ruth League. And I assume they have a board of directors and they handle all these kinds of complaints. This is not a complaint that's properly before the Board of Selectmen because we have absolutely no authority to do anything about this.
Excuse me, Dave. 2 members of the rec committee picked the kids.
But not representing the rec committee. They're representing the board, the
They're on
Babe
the
Ruth
rec
League, and
committee.
they're representing whatever other teams. I have no idea. It's like any one of us that has outside interests. We do things beyond the Board of Selectmen. That doesn't mean because we take a vote on something else that it's the Board of Selectmen that's supporting whatever activity.
The
we're
bottom
in.
line is, no youngster should be turned away from playing ball.
No, find some kids to make a team. You need 9 kids
They
to play
had the
to make it.
kids.
In fact, you need 15 probably to make a team.
They had the kids, Dave.
Yeah, they all ended up in the younger groups according to this.
Yeah, but
I
that,
would say if you got a complaint, go to this, contact the Babe Ruth League, who's
I
given us
called
the
Mr.
information.
Fujay here.
It's not
He
his
wasn't courteous enough
responsibility,
to
Stu.
return the call.
It's not his Well, I don't know about that, but
He's
it's
the
not his
chairman of the rec
responsibility to pick kids for the Babe Ruth League or who gets picked
But
and who
he's-
doesn't. He's responsible to us to make sure that the fields are properly cared for, not to decide what Babe Ruth League or Little League or whatever the team's makeup may be. That's not our responsibility. We provide the fields, that's it.
Very clear.
so who determines who can use the fields? Isn't it the rec committee? And actually, the league, I believe, that my son thought he was gonna be playing for was a league that went up to age 19, which I don't know if.
Yeah, but there's various
they
age
really-
levels within. Well, what,
They said 15
the letter we have
to
here.
19, Mr. Peterson.
Right, the level we have here is, that as a result, this is once again, from Mark Leff, who's from Raleigh,
I know.
and who runs the Babe Ruth League program. We had 48 players register at the 13 and 14-year-old level, enough to field 4 teams, so I'm assuming they fielded 4 teams. We only had 3 registrants in the 15 to 16-year level, one of whom was his son, happened to be. He played Babe Ruth League previously, but in other words, there's not enough kids to field a team here. There's lots of kids, but only a few. The 15 and 16-year-olds are not allowed to play in the 13 and 14-year-old.
No, but they
level.
can play in the 15 to 19-year-old league, and that's the
Well,
league
that's a
that they-
different, so take that up with the Babe Ruth.
That
What I'm
was
saying
Mr.
is take that up
was Mr.
with,
Quinn, who told all the parents there that every player, every person there would play, every person would be on a team. And then he failed to notify anyone that they weren't chosen until it was after the cutoff time.
right.
So my question to the rec committee is, who determines who gets to use our fields?
My point is that that if he was there, if they were representing not the Raleigh Rec Committee, they're representing the Babe Ruth League or the baseball league that was having the tryouts. If they happen to be in the rec committee, that's fine. But there wasn't there was a majority of the rec committee members, they don't make that decision. Your complaint should properly be brought before the Babe Ruth League Baseball.
My complaint is
And they should be
that-
the ones that be dealing with it, not the town of Raleigh.
Gentlemen, I'd be ashamed of myself if I was on the rec committee turning kids away that wanted to play ball.
We're sorry you feel that way, Stu, but,
Well, how else can I feel?
you know, I don't think we have a solution here for you, I'm
They
sorry,
weren't
but we don't.
notified. They weren't notified until after the cutoff for all the other teams, so that they lost the opportunity to play elsewhere, Mr. Peterson. And when you go to a baseball and you go and you're told that this is how the teams are gonna be formed, and every player will play, and then you find out after the fact, when all the other teams have been chosen, that we didn't have enough people for Triton, which they knew that night they didn't have enough people for Triton. And then you're told after the fact, so you couldn't even, you lost the opportunity to go to Hamilton Wenham to play there, or to play in any other league, because they had the cutoff.
So therefore, your complaint is properly before the Babe Ruth League Baseball Association, not the town of Raleigh.
My complaint is with the rec department, the rec committee not allowing everyone to play and to rent our fields out to other agencies or teams and not include everyone.
Well, the rec committee doesn't sponsor a baseball team.
So
But
can I
they
ask what team your son was trying out for?
Who knows? He went to,
No, just a simple question.
I have no idea. I wasn't there, sir.
So it could have been any team.
It was, Mr. Southold was there?
I just asked what team.
I don't know, sir, because I wasn't
Mr.
there.
Southall's team and the fellow from
Mr.
Newburyport.
Quinn.
I think we need to just cut it, I don't see any,
I-
this isn't going anywhere.
Well, I
Mr.
just want
Chairman.
I want to know that the committee, the selectmen, to understand that there were people representing, and you know, I've been in town a long time to know who's on the rec committee, and it didn't make clear, at least to my husband, who's been here all his life, that these people weren't representing the rec committee, that they were representing different agencies that they also volunteer for. And it's disappointing for not just my son, but I know several other boys that wanted to play too, that were not even notified that there wasn't enough people for a team. They lost that opportunity to go elsewhere, and I just want the committee to know that there are other entities that volunteer on the rec committee, and maybe they need to make it perfectly clear that their cap is not rec committee when they're having kids use the field to see if they want to try out for a team. And being told that every player was going to be able to play on a team. That's what was said by both Mr. Quinn and Mr. Southhold.
Well,
Paul.
I
That's
think
what
that-
gets me boiling, doing an
Well,
about face.
I think you're right. I mean, that's what they wanted. Unfortunately, only had 3 players.
No, I believe that information is accurate. I know several other players that didn't get chosen either.
Mr. Chairman,
And they
this is
didn't
going,
know-
this is
Well,
going nowhere. I
I-
suggest we,
Well,
I don't know, we don't have a solution to
We
this
just
problem.
want fairness, Dave.
I understand, and we do too, but this has no solution
guess-
to it.
No,
This is
I want you, I want, this
We're
is
aware.
televised, I want people to know next year, if they show up on Sunday afternoon like they're told, that in fact, they might not be chosen for a team, and you better look elsewhere too, so you have the opportunity to play, and that's all that my son was looking
And
to
that
do.
has to be
think-
done
I
through the
think-
league involved, not through the Raleigh Recreation
That-
Committee.
Well, it's the team, the field that they were on was owned by the town of Rowley.
Yeah, we lease
So-
it to them, we rent it to them, so that they're a renter, they're not a
I
representative
don't know
of
what
the
their
town of
rental
Raleigh.
contract states. They have it from this time to this time. This was back in April.
well, I
so-
think that the, you know,
I don't have an
the
answer.
clearly defined that the rec committee is only in charge of maintaining the fields,
Uh-huh.
okay? Not the teams. The teams that is an independent agency
Uh-huh.
that we rent
Oh,
the
we
fields
realize
to.
that now, Chairman. We
Well-
definitely do, and I'll make sure that other people won't make the same mistake that we did and rely on these 2 men who didn't say, to my knowledge, they weren't representing the rec committee. They were these other 2 entities that rent the fields from the town. It's it's just like if they were at Town Common doing the 4th of July celebration and it was a private entity having a baseball game. One wouldn't know that unless it was clearly stated. And unfortunately, these two men misled the representation of their,
We're not gonna
their,
Well, Mary Claire,
excuse me, Mr. Peterson, I'm
I said,
speaking. I'll yield to you, sir, if you really want to finish what
no,
you're saying.
we don't need to get
Well, he's
heated here.
interrupting.
Mary Claire. Unfortunately, okay, this incident happened, okay? And then as we look into next year, let's,
I mean, I would suggest that anyone that wants to play town-sponsored sports go to Triton Raleigh Youth Baseball, Triton Youth Baseball, softball websites, and where there's clearly tryout schedules, registration schedules similar to lacrosse and hockey. So the information I have from the Triton Youth League was they posted on their website specific tryout and registration dates for youth Babe Ruth baseball for 2013. Based on those publications, only 3 individuals signed up. It's my understanding the teams that your son tried out for was not Triton or Raleigh Youth Baseball. It was a AAU, a private club team, not Raleigh Youth Baseball or Raleigh Babe Ruth. So I would suggest search local websites to ensure that the registration deadlines and tryouts are available.
We did fulfill that obligation, and we weren't informed until after the cutoff for all the other teams. And to be quite frank about it, had they said something sooner, the opportunity would have been there for these boys to play on other teams, or at least attempt to register for another team.
it's not within the venue of the Parks and Recs. But I appreciate you, Mary Claire, coming in and making it clear, so if anybody else goes next year, that it'll be straightened out, that they'll know that there's 2 different entities here. Okay.
Oh, actually, more than just 2. There's several people correct, sir, that rent the fields?
Yes.
Well,
How many leagues actually rent the fields for baseball?
More than 5.
Okay, so there's several that rent the fields.
So next year, if anybody, they'll understand that, but we, this is strictly the Parks and Recs we're talking about.
Well, I just want to make it clear
Sure.
to the other 2 members that represented other leagues that maybe they need to state from the get-go that they're not representing the rec committee, even though they're on the rec committee, that they're representing these other 2 entities, and that would have cleared it up. That would have given an opportunity to seek somewhere outside of Rowley and use a field that's not affiliated with Rowley. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Claire, for coming in tonight. Gwen, thank you. We have one more thing to talk about, I'm sorry. Larry?
Yeah, just a quick question on your financing for the Recreation Committee. Does that include the signage around the fields, or who's responsible for that, and who?
It's my understanding that for the signage, for example, for the Little League field at 133 Route 1, that money goes to the Raleigh Baseball League, that they rent the space and collect the fees from the various companies to use it to support the program.
Okay, so they're responsible for the who the vendors are and, and things like that, the Raleigh Baseball League.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. That help, Larry?
Yes.
Okay. Are you through?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, the basketball court.
Yes. So I have a couple of handouts here. So.
Thank you, Glenn.
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Matthew Doring from 44 Glen Street reached out to me recently. There's an organization, it's my understanding, that raised funds to build a basketball facility in Newbury. And this organization raised funds, and then they hit a few roadblocks, and they determined they were not able to build a facility which proposed to be at Central Street in Newbury. They've raised some funds, and now this group has decided to keep those funds and distribute them to the Triton towns of Rowley, Newbury, and Salisbury. So the email suggests that they have raised approximately $1,000 to $1,500 they'd like to donate to the town to upgrade the facility on Main Street by Pine Grove School. Last year, the rec committee financed the purchase and installation of 2 new glass backboards that are there, and people have reached out to me to upgrade the surface of that basketball to make it safer and upgrade the painting. So some individuals from the basketball organization reached out to a company in Beverly, Mass, and I've supplied some pictures here of some work they've done, and they provided a quote of approximately $2,900 to come in, apply 2 coats of paint, fix all the cracks, and put new cement lines on that facility. So the ask for the board is for the town to match the donation from this organization to support and fund the fee of approximately $3,000 to upgrade that facility.
So you're looking for how much, Glenn?
Approximately 15. The total construction estimate is $2,900 or $3,000. This organization is prepared, according to this note, to pay between $1,000 and $1,500. So if I can work with this organization to raise $1,500 to donate to the town, I'd be asking the town to solicit funds and raise funds to match that donation to upgrade the surface of the basketball court at Pine Grove.
Discussion for the board?
That's the one out front next to.
Yes,
the,
I believe it's located
daycare.
on town property
Yeah, yeah, okay.
on Main Street.
I think
Right across from the church.
Correct.
Right.
I think we're running into the same situation here as we did earlier with a lack of available funding at this point. Is there a time frame here? In other words, if we did have a fall town meeting, we could get some funds from maybe CPC, because we can use, would that fund under the new
Possibly, I'll have to
ruling?
look and see if there's any restrictions, but I'm sure that's something.
I think they've changed the law on that to allow
the
for
rec-
recreational
Use.
Well,
use.
we used something for, well, that's what we're using for the recreational down at Brad Street.
Yeah, but originally you had to buy the land with it, and I think they've changed the law to,
I know there was some talk about changing it.
I think they did pass it. We could check on that, but
I haven't seen it.
right now we don't have a source of funding unless residents watching would like to
Okay, donate.
kick in and donate,
Right.
which that may be a possibility too, but obviously a fall town meeting means we're not gonna, if in fact we could do it that way, we're not gonna have the money available until
Okay.
sometime late in the fall.
Yeah, so the issue with the Raleigh Rec Committee funding is that the cost to carry and maintain the fields is approximately $40,000 per year, and the town donates half of that, or approximately $20,000, and the difference is made up by user fees. So we don't have the $1,500. Otherwise, we'd use the money out of that program to fund it.
A lot of kids use that down there, though.
Excuse me?
For the CPC, if it's a qualifying improvement to, a active recreational property, we may have the funding.
Let's
You
do
know,
an
we may be able to fund it through CPC.
Let's do an inquiry.
Right.
Okay. And there's also been individuals who have contacted me, they're looking to do a summer basketball league too, or a night basketball men's league down there. So I think it would be widely used if it was upgraded.
Yeah, it gets used quite extensively
Oh, yeah.
now. I mean,
It
the
does.
afternoons,
Right.
there's a lot of
Go
big.
there early evening,
Yeah.
like now, the nights are longer.
Right.
There's 20 guys there playing,
Right.
not guys, but I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah,
kids
the
up.
improvements in the basketball netting and the backboards has really
Yeah.
made a difference down there.
Right.
Yeah.
How big a league do you think you'd be able to put together?
League?
You talking about a league? Or-
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I think they could probably put.
well, let's not go into that.
I'm not in charge of
League
leagues.
doesn't do leagues.
This was speculation only, okay? So,
Wouldn't even go there.
yeah, let's not go there. Okay, let's,
So should I check
Look.
back in with you folks in the fall on this topic, or?
well, let's,
Well, you know, I wonder-
let us do a
Inquiry to the
inquiry to
CPC or-
CPC, okay? And then
Well,
we'll,
In any
wonder-
event, even if we can use CPC funds, it would have to be appropriated at the special town meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering, Glenn, if for $1,500 we could do a publicity campaign, and I mean that's 15 people give $100 a piece. We got $1,500. I mean, you think we could?
Well, I think I said to Glenn, let's just check that number, make sure the prevailing wage rates are included,
Right.
insurance
Yep.
requidements that we're required to have for anybody that's working town
And
property.
the document
So-
does say prevailing wage, so.
So,
Yeah.
we want to, I didn't pull any recent prevailing wage rates, so.
Okay.
Let's check with CPC first, okay, see if
Okay.
it's feasible, okay? And
Okay.
then from there, we'll go, and if we have to come back, we'll come
Okay.
back and explore it again from the table here,
Fair enough.
okay? Glenn, thanks for coming in
All right,
tonight.
gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Glenn.
Okay.
Thanks, Glenn.
Okay.
Glenn?
See you,
Okay.
gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. Again, I've already gone through the announcements, so at this point, it's now 20 after 9. We're going into executive session and for collective bargaining, strategy with ASME, and not to return to regular session. So with that, I need a roll call vote.
I'll give you the motion.
I have a motion.
Second it.
I have a second. And with a roll call vote.
Jack Cook?
Hi, Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Rob, Mary.
All right, Dave Peterson.
Good night, everyone. We will see you in 2 weeks on the 15th of July. Good night now.